The ANFASA grant scheme for authors started in 2007 with 10 grant winners, and in just 15 years we have 176 recipients. A total of 3.95 million rands has been awarded. The grant scheme serves to support authors with the resources to work on their manuscripts. To date, 55 of the books supported by the scheme have been published, some of them gaining notoriety.
With the assistance of ANFASA, I managed to collect data to write. So with the help of ANFASA, I'm very, very positive that most of the history that was not known will be documented for other people to read.
Our main vision or our way forward on this grant scheme is that we want to focus mainly on our youth to become authors of note.
It's taken a lot of work on our part. We've worked hard to grow the organisation, and now it's really taking off and becoming better and better known. It's so important for us to be an organisation that cares about and looks for authors and takes an interest in their needs, especially in their intellectual property rights.
My name is Lorato Trok, and I have had 2 grants granted to me by ANFASA, 2017 and 2020, for my 2 books. My books have been successful in so many ways. My first that I published in 2019, the first edition, I republished it in 2021 at the second edition, but with the first edition, I was invited by the South African Embassy in Washington, D.C. to give a talk to American teachers. And I was also invited by the Boston Teachers Union because they wanted the book in some of their schools. And so my book is read in some American schools in Boston and Colorado. The second edition just recently in December 2021 won a UN, or was one of the 5 books selected by the United Nations SDG 5, which is empowering women, and the UN only wanted 5 books for that, and my book made the 5 throughout the continent. And my second book, which was published by Jacana, The Forgotten Scientist, the story of Sol Sithelo, have also been that successful as well. It was launched by BirdLife South Africa, and actually BirdLife South Africa, through my book, renamed their library the Sol Sithelo Memorial Library after learning about what he has done for the study of birds and fossils. I was invited by the Song Museum to do the inaugural lecture about Sol Sithelo. I am excited for you, and I am urging you to write more stories and be very deliberate about wanting your stories to get out.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is the 2022, obviously a very important gathering, even though we're gathering digitally, but it allows us to sort of celebrate the resilience that you have shown as writers who have won the grant to be able to go on and work on your manuscript. It's been a very difficult time the last 2 years, obviously with the COVID pandemic and the restrictions that it has placed on movement, and by that extension it means that research has also been difficult to perform, but we give thanks to the staff and team at ANFASA that has managed to soldier on during this difficult time to make sure that the grant indeed is made available and work is able to be done. And so we All right, so we are here to celebrate you, and I'm looking forward to hear more about the books that you are going to be embarking on to write and produce for us as the book reading population of the country and the world indeed. And my job is very simple. I'll try and give order to a very tricky online life of the unprecedented gathering that we are having here. Ordinarily, we would be somewhere together, enjoying cocktails and hugging each other and giving each other confidence and celebration. But Professor Ngubane will then tell us more about how it was getting to where we are today, and really welcome us to our virtual gathering. Thank you, Dr. Ngubane, Professor Ngubane.
Thank you very much, Program Director. It's good to see you, Percy. And thank you to everyone who has attended our AGSA ceremony 2022. Just prepared some brief talk on the overview of this scheme. In spite of the challenges, ANFASA continues to dedicate itself to promoting authors' rights and their interests. We continue to build a vibrant and strong organization to support writers and uplift our society. Our main goal is to see authors making a living by their works. We continue to host online workshops and webinars since the advent of COVID-19 to keep ourselves going ahead with the current and local and international trends in the industry. We are currently initiating a public lending right project, which will be the first in South Africa once it is implemented. Once we have our proposal rights, we will approach relevant stakeholders to join hands in this venture. Watch the space. Coming back to our AGSA ceremony, AGSA has become our flagship as ANFASA. It would not be fair to take the credit as ANFASA for the success of the project, but extend our gratitude to our partners whom without we may have not come to where we are right now. The Royal Norwegian Embassy, our host this evening, together with Samro Foundation, who contributes generous sum of money to enable us to run with the project. Our sincere gratitude goes to the leadership and staff for both organizations. A big up to you all. For the benefit of those who may not have a background to how this partnership began, the aim of the scheme is to produce tangible results, publish works, as well as to advance personal writing careers. The scheme started in 2007, and it was funded by NFF until 2013, with 62 grant winners in 2012. NFF, who subsequently facilitated a process for support between ANFASA and Norwegian Embassy. In 2013, the Royal Norwegian Embassy took over the scheme for a 3-year period. We were also able to establish a new partnership with the Samro Foundation, who funds 2 music projects each year. From 2013, what's happening now here? All right, sorry about that. From 2013 to date, with the support of the Embassy and Samro Funding Music Project, ANFASA has distributed more than 103 grants to deserving winners. I'm sure the clip that was played when we started gave us the exact number of the grant winners that we have achieved so far. I'm also pleased to tell you that last year we hosted an online AGSA ceremony successfully, and today we are confident that we will make our mark. The selection criteria for 2021 were the same as for the previous years. However, each year the emphasis shifts slightly. In 2021, the selectors were looking out for 3 subjects or topics. They were looking into new talent and voices with the potential to become better known and influential. In fact, this was targeted to young and upcoming authors. Secondly, projects with the strongest potential to actually landing up as books. This year, ANFASA received 52 applications, a significant decrease from the previous years. However, this was largely because only ANFASA members could apply, and they needed to log into their membership to access the application form. So that is why most people who are non-ANFASA members were eliminated. This exercise did away with ineligible applicants who didn't meet the criteria and who applied because the form was easily accessible. The initial sort, which was carried out by Samu, our national coordinator, and Monica, our treasurer, was based on eligibility. And for the first time, eligibility was extended to include age. E.g., elderly first-time authors unlikely to sustain a writing career, relevance of subject matter, e.g., no mind, body, spirit, which is popular but rarely based on research, thus lacking a long-term relevance. An application with some possible potential, but which were not well put together. This led to a short list of only 31 applications, which were circulated to the selection committee. I wish to thank the Royal Norwegian Embassy, represented by the Deputy Ambassador, Dr. Stian Nordegen Christensen, for the continued support over the decades of successful event. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you today, and more especially our grant scheme recipient who have joined us today. Congratulations and well done for making it thus far. We look forward to your presentations of your titles, and may I take this opportunity to wish you well in your research. We want to display your books in the near future. With these few words, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, I just want to welcome all of you to our august event this evening. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Program Director, for allowing me to say these few words. Thank you. You must unmute yourself, Percy.
Oh, thank you. Prof, thank you for those words. To more years of success and growth for ANFASA as an organization, and welcoming more vibrant, young, and hopeful and talented writers into the future as we continue to grow the organization and the field of writers in the country, and the quality of writing improves in the country. What we going to do now is to hear a pre-recorded message from the Norwegian Embassy Deputy Ambassador, Dr. Stian Nordegen Christiansen, with his congratulatory remarks for all you winners for having been selected and for the grant scheme this year.
Dear Chairman of ANFASA, Professor Ngubane, dear colleagues from ANFASA, and of course a very warm welcome to all the 2021 AGSA winners. Congratulations! I would have preferred to welcome you in our residence in Pretoria, which has been the tradition for many years. This does not take away from the tremendous pleasure, however, that it is to be addressing such excellent minds as yours. Just from reading the synopsis of your work, I am getting a good picture of this country's vibrant culture and history, its fascinating and complex history. Covering, amongst other things, history, politics, mental health, entrepreneurship, culture and arts, your work will definitely make exciting reading. I have also published a number of non-fiction books myself over the years, and I know what it feels like to work hard, often for years, on a project. And how you feel when you are finished, and at the same time you're very proud, but also vulnerable to people's reactions when the work is finally complete. It is a process of sweat and tears, and in the end, uncertain reactions. This is why it's so important to savor occasions such as these. You have been selected, your work has been weighed and found not lacking, you have been seen as valuable and promising. So give yourselves a well-earned pat on the back and know that you're considered to be important. The Norwegian government is always seeking to strengthen the cultural sector through multilateral cooperation and bilateral projects, such as the one that we have with ANFASA. Teaming up with NGOs and civil society, as well as human rights organizations, forms the backbone of Norway's international strategy for freedom of expression. We believe that a vibrant and diverse cultural sector is contingent on freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and human creativity. These are some of the values we deem fundamental in our cooperation and contribution to strengthen democracy and respect for human rights. They also form a part that is integral of Norway's global engagement. It is our belief that they are essential to create conditions that facilitate free, open, and enlightened public debate. I wish to thank you all for your hard work. I know we will be enriched with the knowledge and wisdom that you will be imparting. The work that you do is critically important for national memory, for democracy and dignity, and importantly, for ownership in writing one's history. Know that your contribution is and will be highly appreciated by many. Thank you also to our partner ANFASA for once again making this occasion possible. It is always pleasing to us at the embassy to see collaborations with our partners resulting in such valuable and tangible results. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Indeed, know that your work is highly appreciated. It has been judged and has been found to be of value. Those are encouraging words indeed. So next I'm going to hand over to Dr. Winston Mohapi, who's one of our judges, and he will make a short speech to tell us more about the winners today. Thank you. Mr. Mohapi.
Thank you, Chair, Program Director, Pesima Pandu. The Royal Norwegian Embassy, Deputy Ambassador Dr. Stian Nordengen Christensen, and FASA board members, authors, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Deputy Ambassador, as you know, we are gathered here to honor the authors who distinguished themselves with non-fiction literature, which will go a long way in the history of South Africa and Norway. And I'm here to endorse the AGSA winners. The ANFASA judges who ensured the task was done impeccably and professionally. I would like to name them, and not in their seniority. The first is Monica Siba, Beth Leroux, who could not be present with us today because of the bereavement of her husband. Samu, the administrator, was also there, and myself as one of the judges. The exercise of selecting distinguished presentations of prolific winners was made easier by the high quality of clear summaries presented. In the past, we had to scratch our skulls and argue to select the appropriate winners. Not this time, because of the good work that we were presented to ANFASA. The judges went through each of the 31 presentations with hawk eyes and applied literary professionalism. The keenness of each judge was amazing and energetic. Each judge came to the selection meeting having prepared a thorough, convincing report, which was more often than not a surprising consensus. Probably there was a Holy Spirit hovering over us at the time. The main criteria considered by the judges was to look at which projects were likely to be converted into books. AGSA is one of the crown jewels of ANFASA. Therefore, a selection depended always on looking for the best presentation intended for an outstanding book. The Deputy Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the titles of the selected books and the names of the authors. The first one is, the title of the book is A Critical Analysis of South Africa's Contemporary Language Policies and Status of Their Implementation. This book was written by, or will be written, or has been written by Bongeka Buhle Sengwa Selepe. The book is about analyzing why English dominates the public fora or forums and how to bring equity to all the 11 official languages in the country.
Please unmute yourself, Ndate. Thank you.
Have you not heard me for a while?
Yes, for quite some time now.
Did you hear me from the start?
We only heard you. We only had you. You only had you announce the first winner, but not the rest.
All right. Let me go to the second one then. You hear me now?
Yes.
You could.
The Rain's Magic Power, Markings and Stories from the Kurukop. What comes out of this book are the illustrations and explanations of the Kurukop engraving in the Karoo terrain. The third book is by Kiarabe Zumuopelo. The title of the book is The Cave and the Mountain, The Meaning of Land for Rural Black South Africans. The book researches about the South African heritage sites such as Madima Matle, a sacred cave at the foot of a beacon in southwest Limpopo. The other winner is Struan Datlas. The title of the book is Story of South African Jazz Volume. The book is about South African jazz, and it focuses on the philosophy of freedom that underlies jazz and Black consciousness, which has shifted the music, that is Black consciousness has shifted music from Black consciousness philosophy to township music. The next one is Francis Kintu, and the title of the book is Strategies on the niche markets. In the book, we read that there are strategies that the writer has put forward, trying to find niche markets for entrepreneurs in South Africa. I'm giving very brief themes of the books. The other book, the next book is David Wamasamela. The name of the book is Mokgathatshemo ya Lehuti, Tswelopele le Kgodiso Kadimo Phetong. This book explains how best to modernize traditional poetry, that is praise poems, without losing cultural identity. Followed by the book of David Charles Rubens. The title of the book is The Testimony of Rivers. The book is about travels to find evidence of slavery in Africa. David traces slavery on the banks of the Kunap River, a tributary of the Great Fish River in South Africa. Although he has traveled wildly in America trying to find areas where the slaves were stationed, he compares the running of these two rivers with the Mississippi Delta in the USA. Followed now by Jimmy Mushidi, the author, Munyanya wa Batau, Khato ka Khato Tshepidiso nya Lenyalo. The theme of the book illustrates the marriage system of the Bataung community and the Bapedi society. It outlines important procedures in the weddings and marriages. The other book is about, it's written by Martini Moodley. The title of the book is The Implications of the Consumer Protection Act, known as CPA in short.
I don't know.
Noise in the background for business. The book discusses and highlights current challenges which business experience due to the implications of the Consumer Protection Act. The next book is Contemporary Concordia, a visual experience, written by Roneshka Klute. In the book, the author explores the historic copper mining town of Concordia in Namakwaland. He talks about the history, culture, traditions, and wonderful landscape, and they are being showcased. The other book is by Martha Evans, entitled A Biography of Lillian Ngoyi. Most of us, I think, here will remember who Lillian Ngoyi was and is, I must say. This is a biography of Lillian Ngoyi, who was born in 1911 and passed on in 1980. She lived in poverty after many unfavorable experiences, which shaped her character to become the first female member of the ANC National Executive Committee. She became a pioneer of women's rights within the movement. The final author is Lesedi Molefi. Title of the book is Patent 12A, a book on new ways to confront anxiety, depression, and how to live a lonely life. This book is very painful. The author wrote it when he was at work and he left work to go to the rehabilitation center. And he lived there to write the book. It's really worth reading to understand how anxiety and depression can change the character of a person. And first, I would like to wish the AGSA winners on their noteworthy achievement. Writing a book is a feat that requires concentration, systematic, and coherent thinking. We would like to thank you for adding more books to the South African literature environment, responding positively to ANFASA's quest for production of excellence and the Royal Norwegian Embassy's unfailing support. On the same note, we would like to encourage those who have not been successful not to despair. There's still time to go through the winding road. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you, Ntate Mohapi, for those encouraging words and taking us through the list of our winners. Eventually, be that as it may. So I'm going to ask them to say just a few words in sequence as you have read out their name and the subject of their mention. Acknowledge them and then we can see them. And ordinarily would be giving them certificates and would be shaking hands and toasting. So congratulations to everyone. So I'm going to ask first Bongeka Bushtengwa Selepe to in acknowledgement of her reception of the prize. Bongeka, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Program Director, and good afternoon to all the guests, and special greetings to fellow award recipients. My name, as I have been introduced, is Bongeka Buhle Hlengwa Silepe, the soon-to-be author of the book titled A Critical Analysis of South African Contemporary Language Policies and Status of Their Implementation. In the book, I argue that although South Africa is home to 9 indigenous African languages, English remains the dominant official language and in essence, the only official language. This continues to happen even though the country's constitution and the Use of Official Languages Act number 12 of 2012 requires the government to ensure that all official languages are promoted and used equitably. The book discusses factors that led to the status quo and makes recommendations on what can be done to rectify this. And now that the book is in its final stages, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone that made this possible, starting with ANFASA and partners as the facilitators and enablers. Professor Ngubane and team, thank you very much for your thoughtfulness and kindness. As the recipient of this award, I am honored and humbled to have been selected and to be part of this worthwhile occasion. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. I would also like to thank the panel of adjudicators who without their objectivity, we would not have made it to the cut. Thank you very much for your skill and impartiality. Ntate Mohapi and team, and most importantly, I wish to convey my heartfelt gratitude to Abaninbe Mali. Without the Royal Norwegian Embassy, we would not be authors of these meaningful books that will continue to earn us respect in the field of research and academic circles, now and in the future for those of us who are in research and academia. His Excellency, Dr. Christensen, thank you for your generosity. Please convey our thankfulness to the embassy. Lastly, I would like to thank Paul Tosio and Craig Wober in absentia for their help in removing all the academic scaffolding and reorganizing the material, as well as Boutique Books for editing, layout, and cover design, ISBN and barcode facilitation. The book will hit shelves soon, and I wish that all of you will be the very first to read it. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you and congratulations, Bongeka. We look forward to reading the book. It certainly will be a much needed contribution to discourse around languages in the country, and hopefully become exemplary as well across the continent where people are struggling to figure out what to do with indigenous languages in the face of inherited colonial languages. So, thank you. Work. I also want to roll. Gosh.
We seem to have a challenge,
something wrong.
audio challenge from the person. Can we allow them just to flow from Bongega to Neil Rush, because I think Neil is ready to make few remarks. Over to you, Neil.
We can't hear you. Please speak.
That's correct. I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. I know I have a short while to talk, and in the time allocated to me, I will attempt to convey how and why the title of the book I'm writing came about. I will do so by reading a testimony given by a San Bushman man, Diakwen, in the 19th century. So the smell of rain and the rain's magic power. My grandfather's name was Nguyen Kuten. Father called him when he wanted the rain to fall. Although he no longer was with us, Father believed that being a rain medicine man, he would hear Father when he called. And Father said, "You who seem to be Nuikuten, you used to say to me that when the time came that you were dead, if I called upon you, you would hear me. You would let rain fall for me." And when Father spoke thus, the rain clouds came gliding up. The rain did not pass over, for the rain clouds covered the sky. Then I said to Father, "Look, rain clouds are covering the sky." Then Father told me that I must stop talking and be silent. We should look with our eyes and not talk about the rain clouds. Father was angry with me for speaking like that and not being silent. Then Father said, "My daughter's husband, you seem to think that Nguyen Kuten has not heard me. At the time at which he brings rain, he lets the wind blow. He is doing as he promised to me. It was I who begged for wind. A smell of rain comes with the wind. It is the rain scent which is with the wind." Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Neil, for the insights there, giving us a reminder that there's another world in the country, and in fight with our city existences. There's a magical world that's possible also, and that exists in the country. Thank you. We look forward to reading your book, and congratulations again. Kiarabetswe Moapelo, the cave and the mountain, the meaning of land for rural Black South Africans.
Thank you so much, Percy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiarabetswe Moapelo, guys. Moapelo, which means the one who is sang praises unto, which is so befitting because everything about this meeting and celebration has really made me feel very important, I suppose. Thank you so much for the award, first of all, before I tap into anything. It is so important that as a young person, you have such amazing people backing your dreams and, you know, seeing your vision in as much as, you know, you may be young, you know, inexperienced to some extent. Thank you so much for the grant again. So my research stems from a consultation project that I had where I had to render my anthropological expertise to declare a site sacred or not. And I had to do some heritage findings that I thought everybody would want to hear about this. I think everybody wants to travel to this Africa, to this beautiful place whereby we have an understanding of what tradition and heritage mean to all of us, of any race, as a matter of fact. So I had discovered that there's so many pockets of sacred sites in South Africa that are not really known by people, but that are very important at the core of people's identities. And I began to realize the relationship between identity and land for a lot of the natives in South Africa, inverted commas natives, and that inspired the project for me. Anthropology is something that I had loved since I was probably 4 years old, growing up in the village, even though I didn't know that was it. But there was a need to rewrite culture, to tell these folk stories, to say that Western knowledge is not only the form, is not the only valid form of, you know, knowledge, but that there are systems of knowledge that exist in Africa that we've overlooked, that we call myth, and that we render irrational, illogical, impossible. But these are important nonetheless to the people because they form a core sense of their identities and shape their belonging. Growing up also in the township, I realized that people in the township are very different from people in the rural areas. And then I began to look at those cultural differences and understood that it is so important that we have kohai, we have home to return to. We have these cultures, imbego, we have isigo, we have all of those processes. But now I was really inspired to write it from, I think the first book that we had written with Mistra, chapter 5 on the Magic Mountain with Professor David Copeland, who's been my mentor for the longest time now. And he really had helped me a lot to shape these ideas and to convey the importance of land beyond just farming and commercial living. So I really hope to make everyone proud, and it becomes more than just a book that we read in academic spaces, but a book that we can even hand down to the future generations to read and know about these histories and know about these sites and understand the importance of ritual and space. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kiara Mopelo. We look forward to reading your insights. Fascinating indeed. Also taking us into deeper cultures in the land. The next one. A Throne Atlas, the story of the South.
Thank you. Special thanks to Norwegian Embassy and ANFASA, Samro Foundation, friends, program directors, and fellow authors. It would have been wonderful to be together in person. Missing that. Now, the story of South African jazz is a 25-year project to date, with research beginning in the late 90s. It has become a quickly growing initiative and now a fast-moving jazz history and heritage repository for South Africa and beyond. The startup grant provided by ANFASA is a powerful step in pushing this beautiful South African jazz story to the next level. Responding to what Prof. Ngubane said, our main aim is to help authors make a living from their work. Now, the main aim of the story of South African jazz is to help musicians make a living from their work. As authors of books and as authors of music, we are actually all together at the tip of the same creative spear. And we have made wonderful achievements together in this jazz research through the creation of a knowledge foundation, an interview and media archive, through skills transfer in education, and through the growing network with our growing database and media partners locally and internationally. Now, the opening words of the first volume is the whole thing about this jazz thing is it never finishes. So the beautiful thing about never-ending stories is that is where we find ourselves and experience aspects of ourselves that we can never have imagined. In other words, it's through never-ending stories that we fulfill our potential. So as author of the Story of South African Jazz book series, it's a wonderful journey and such a privilege to walk parts of this journey with the brilliant ANFASA family. As Winston Mohapi pointed out, the Story of South African Jazz is aligned with the Black consciousness philosophy and the emergence of extraordinary individuals from the township. So there is exciting new material for Volume 3 in terms of new stories, testimonies, and experiences spanning exile and the return from exile, new copyright victories for music authors, and the huge depth of musical tradition, indigenous knowledge, and spiritual wisdom that seeps out from our nationwide jazz communities. The Story of South African Jazz book series has grown exponentially since the first volume was released in 2015, second volume in 2019, and the third volume is being prepared for release in December 2023 and could well be the final volume in the series. We have achieved many milestones along the way, such as introducing South African jazz into school syllabi, IEB and CAP for grades 10 to 12, utilizing the research as a foundation to birth the music free learning online curriculum delivery solutions, and most importantly, preserving South African jazz as a powerful heritage and promoting its practice as economically relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, Stron. We look forward to reading your book as it grows into a very important repository of insight on this very important part of our musical heritage. The next one to speak is Francis Kintu, who is working on Where is Your Bread Butter? Strategies for finding niche markets for entrepreneurs in South Africa. Francis, are you here? Can you hear us? I think we're struggling to get Francis there. I'm not sure if Francis is with us. Let me give it a couple of seconds. Maybe Francis is experiencing.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now, Francis.
Yeah, I'm saying good evening, everybody, the grant winners and His Excellency, the Ambassador to Norway. I wish to thank ANFASA and the Norwegian Embassy for this opportunity of addressing you this evening. I also wish to thank the Norwegian Embassy for the book grant award. Personally, to me, it has been a long journey. I applied for an ANFASA grant in 2017, but I was turned down. In 2018, I continued on. 2019, nothing. 2020, then voila, 2021, and I got it. I have a desire to enrich or impact like the lives of people in this country, because I believe that writing should have a positive impact on the society and to those you are writing it for. My book, the title is Where's Your Bread Buttered? Strategies for Finding Niche Markets for Entrepreneurs in South Africa. I am a businessman who has seen the rough and tumble of businesses in this country. And I wish to write a book that would address the pain points of why business in this country collapse. This book intends to equip business people and entrepreneurs with their knowledge and skills by identifying lucrative niche markets for their businesses. One of the research that was conducted by the DTI discovered that one of the biggest factors behind business collapsing in this country is the lack of adequate markets that can sustain business operations. And if you look at the reports that come out every year from the DTI and other research, it says South Africa has one of the highest rates of business failure in the world. It says 5 out of 7 SMEs failed in their first year of operation. Can you imagine that? So one of the biggest factors that lead to business collapse in this country is the lack of adequate markets that can sustain the business operations. So this book intends, as it were, to provide strategies and tools for entrepreneurs. Those who want to begin businesses with, the book will equip them with the knowledge that enables them to go and find profitable or lucrative niche markets for their market spaces. Niche markets basically are those markets where there's little or no competition, or markets that have little contestation. As a business owner who has had 3 failed businesses, I know the pain of not having a good market. And so I want to use my experience in business and what I have gained as solutions, and of course with research, to contribute in a way that will enable wannabe entrepreneurs and business owners with the skills and strategies of how to identify niche markets, because having an adequate market is very important for business people. So I hope that I'll make a positive contribution and impact in this regard. And it is my sincere hope that the book will be of immense benefit to business people and wannabe entrepreneurs. That will be my contribution to society at large. I want to thank the ANFASA board members. I want to thank the Norwegian Embassy for the grant they gave me. And I hope that the fruits from this book will be of immense help in driving business forward. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Thank you, Francis. We look forward to reading your insights. Indeed, the books around entrepreneurship and research around this area is very needed as we look to grow our economy in the country and the subcontinent at large. So it surely will be a very welcomed contribution to knowledge production. I'm going to also say that because we've kept you all here for a while online, so I want to ask that we are short and concise in our thanks. I know we are burning to share what we have been working on. So do bear with me and work with me on that one. I want to ask David Wamashamela to speak to us now about Mokatatseno ya Lihuiti Swetso Pili Li Kodiso Kadimo Tito.
Please don't
David,
break.
I tried.
Please don't break your time. No, thank you very much, Percy. I think briefly, thanks to colleagues, the project is more about the muse of my 2 decades as a poetic practitioner, but taking it further to a conversation with other practitioners so that we can look at how to, beyond individual frameworks, improve the skill, because much as one can think it's an individual journey, it's also a national journey. Literature, language, arts, they contribute a bigger factor to one's identity. In fact, more than identity, one's spirituality. And if we lack those 2 pillars in our lives, the rest will become supplementary. So without waste of time, thanks to the ANFASA team, Prof. Ngubane, thank you so much. You have always been a father and you continue to be one way or the other, and I appreciate Ntate Mohapi, the entire team, also the other stakeholders, SAMRO and the Royal Norwegian. And I say, colleagues, it's a prestige to me to be part of this team, and I will do whatever it takes to ensure that this project makes its mark as it is supposed to. So thank you so much, Rapes.
Yeah, thank you, Mudeva. I tried. So another David Charles Robbins is writing a book, or has written a book, or is working on a book called The Testimony of Rivers. Are you here? Is David here? I think David might also be struggling with sound. But as we had earlier, David's book is exploring the story of slavery along the Fish River, and he's comparing the experience there with what happened in the Mississippi Delta in the United States. So we look forward to that book. I don't think David is with us.
Hello,
so
I am here.
There you are. Hello, David. I want to say a few words, David, about the award. Thank you.
Well, shall I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everybody. And it's very nice to be able to speak in front of the Deputy Ambassador, who has helped so many writers. This is my second time of being helped by the Norwegians, but of course it is the people who select me for the assistance that I need to thank as well. So ANFASA has become a very valuable part of my life. Now, just very briefly, I'm simply going to read a very simple paragraph to you to give you some idea of what the book is really about. It began when I was in West Africa, and I was confronted time and time again by the evidence of slavery. And I realized that to tell the complete story of Africa, I would not be able to do that without going to America. Well, the grant that has come to me is part of the process of getting to America. But essentially, I am going to be looking at my two rivers. The first is a tributary of the Great Fish River, which is right in the middle of the frontier wars. And the other one is the Mississippi, where white people like myself, their first experience of Africa was people coming off the ships in chains. And so it is very important that I travel in South Africa back to where I come from, which is the Eastern Cape, and then ultimately in America. But I'm very, very grateful for the assistance that I have received. It's an expensive business, this travel writing, but thank you very much, everybody concerned. Thank you. Okay. I'm done.
Thank you. It's going to be a very fascinating read as the book comes out. I think it also allows us to see the global nature of the subject. Beyond the exclusive preserve of to Jimmy Mushiri, Munyanya Wabatau, Kato Kakato, Tipiriso. That is the book that I'm assuming Jimmy is still with us as well. I know that people have been having some trouble with audio, but I think Jimmy is here. Jimmy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for this opportunity. I feel very delighted to be part of this activity tonight. My book is simply titled Munyanya Batau, meaning a wedding celebration of the Batau, meaning the step-by-step process of a traditional celebration. So the no.
Your sound is very bad. I think you're operating with two mics. One mic is from your Zoom. That you try and sort it out, and then we'll come back to you at the end. All right. Fumulani, I'm going to then move to Malini, as I apologize to Jimmy there to try and sort out whatever was. All right. Malini Modli, the implications of the Consumer Protection Act for business in South Africa. This is a very fascinating one. Please do not say that the act is must go away. We want to be able to hold businesses to account when they do us badly.
Thank you very much, MC. Can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
To the book and the kind of contribution that. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay, super. Thank you. So my name is Malini Mudli, and I've actually published 2 books last year without any funding. So this is really a breath of fresh air for me. So thank you to AGSA for this award. Thank you for making this opportunity available for academic writing in particular. There's need done. I started researching this topic a few years ago. It was really done any significant study on the CPA, that is the consumer protection, was done here in South Africa. I am a marketing consultant and an academic at a private institution, and we are constantly researching. So as more research is done, it adds to the body of knowledge internationally. So it's really critical. In terms of the study and my research, many retailers have adopted a wait on to the new provisions of the CPA. Many retailers, particularly in the tourism sector, especially during the pandemic, did not know how to pivot to online platforms. So this book section will assist retailers in South Africa to unpaid recommendations for compliant marketing strategies for such businesses. So I wish to thank ANFASA, the Royal Norwegian Embassy, and the panel of judges for making this award possible. Congrats to all the fellow authors, and thank you once again, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Malini. We look forward to the book. And the robust contribution that it promises to. Roneshka. Roneshka, are you with us? Is Roneshka here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There you are.
Good afternoon, ANFASA, the Royal Embassy of Norwegian, esteemed guests and fellow writers. My name is Roneshka Klute, and I'm from the historic copper mining town of Concordia in Namaqualand in the Northern Cape. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank ANFASA and the Royal Norwegian Embassy for believing in my project and for granting me the opportunity to bring it into existence. My book, titled Contemporary Concordia, A Visual Experience, was born out of the need to know more about my town, to share this knowledge, and to visually showcase the culture, the traditions, landscape, the history, the people, and the beauty of the town. I realized that the Concordia narrative, or the little that is written about the town, has always been sold from either a male or an outsider point of view. With this project, I want to change that. I'm creating a written and a photographic account from a local perspective that will show what the town is about. The project has several components, obviously a research component, a photographic element, and written element. This grant has allowed me to journey to the archives in Cape Town, the National Library, and other institutions for research purposes and data collection. I've been connecting with individuals and institutions who has been assisting me in this research process. Furthermore, it has afforded me the time to go out and to capture, to photograph, and to document the various elements that I will be showcasing in the book. Therefore, I just want to once again thank ANFASA and the Royal Norwegian Embassy for making this project a possibility, and thank you for your assistance thus far. Thank you.
Thank you, Roneshka. We look forward to reading your book. The Northern Cape is a very sacred part of our story that is not told enough. And so the creative way in which you're approaching the story is surely visually as you put it. And congratulations, Martha Evans, who is taking on the mammoth task of writing a biography of Lynn Ngoyi. We really need more stories like this one as well, because in the way in which we account for the memory of our liberation struggle. Martha Evans, is Martha here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can
Can
hear you loud and clear, Martha.
Okay. Good evening, colleagues, fellow grant recipients, Dr. Christensen, Professor Ngubane, and other ANFASA representatives. I'm really very honored to be in such esteemed company, and congratulations to all the other recipients. I'm so looking forward to reading all of your books. I have always enjoyed ANFASA's broad vision. I've been applying unsuccessfully for grants for some time now and have thus noted prior winners. And over the years, I've been really impressed that when it comes to awarding grants, there is always such an eclectic mix of research-driven and academic texts and innovative and quirky stories, all focused on social cohesion, nation building, multilingualism, and recovering our histories. This grant goes a long way towards helping South Africans tell our untold stories. And as this evening has demonstrated, we have so many. Lillian Ngoyi's life is one such story. I'm working on a full-length biography of Lillian Masidibe Ngoyi, and the more I delve into her life, the more I realize what an extraordinary life she lived. I want to give you a taste of the book, half of which is written. So I thought I would read the beginning of a chapter, just to give you a sense of how the book, the direction of that the book is going in. So this is when Ngoyi is a young widow living in the shelters in Orlando, Soweto. Ngoyi's move to the suburb of Orlando also coincided with a new love interest. 4 years after the death of her first husband, she married again. Surprisingly, this event does not appear in any of the official accounts of her life, most likely because she never spoke of her second husband in any of her letters or interviews. Yet official records reflect that on the 28th of October 1941, a widow, Lillian Ngoyi ni Matabane, married a man by the name of Julius Garpe, 2 years her senior. The couple were already living together, and the marriage certificate puts their address as 80 Orlando. Julius Garpe's profession is listed as laborer, while Ngoyi is described as a housewife. The only other reference to her second marriage comes from Ngoyi's friend Maggie Resha, who simply noted that the relationship did not work. There are some clues as to why the match was unhappy. About a decade later, in a conversation with Ray Waterman, Ngoyi describes a second relationship, although she refers to a boyfriend rather than a husband. She related how the man had called for her one night and found her away at a meeting of some sort. He sat waiting in my room until midnight, baffled and resentful, she relayed. When he returned, he said, "Me or the movement?" "The movement," Ngoyi reportedly said. And that was that. I'll go on in my biography to cover all the events of her life in this way, and I'm really hoping that the book will begin the process of reviving her extraordinary legacy so that she is better situated amongst the luminaries of our struggle. Her story is the story of so many South African women, and it deserves to be told. My thanks to Dr. Christensen and the Norwegian Embassy for the generous sponsorship of this program. There are two great benefits to the grant. The first is obviously financial. The ANFASA grant enables one to buy time, every writer's most precious resource in this very busy world. But the second benefit is also important. It means so much to me that the judges saw value in my project and believed in it enough to fund it. I feel so encouraged to continue. The boost that it's given me is priceless, so thank you. Especially to the judges, to you, Winston Mohape, Monica Sieber, and others who took the time to look through all the applications. Thank you for your time and expertise and for seeing the value in what I hope will soon be a book. Thank you also to the ANFASA leaders and administrators, to Professor Ngubane, to Samu, and all the L's without whom none of this would happen. I know what kind of work is involved in putting together a grant such as this, sending out the various communiques, marketing the grant, and putting together this award ceremony. My thanks to you all.
Thank you, Martha. I think you've got a very big task ahead of you. We look forward to it. Let me then call in Lesedi Mulifi, who's writing patient 12A.
Sweet. Hello. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Percy. Can everybody hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Percy. I wanted to start, I think, by saying thank you so much. Thank you to everyone at ANFASA and at the Royal Norwegian Embassy, I think, for selecting and for believing in my work. And of course, for inviting me. I think just to this moment, it's really incredible to hear about all the work that ANFASA supports, and it's just also really incredible to hear about all the wonderful work I think being done by my fellow authors here. It's gratifying. It's deeply affirming, you know, as well to. I don't know, you know, to have my work, I think, kind of, you know, considered alongside the kind of titles that I've just heard. I think not just from, you know, just the quality of the work, just the expanse of the work and the experience and the sort of the caliber of writers. I think I kind of think I'm the youngest one here, you know, so it's also like quite incredible, I think, for me to be in the company of distinguished writers who've been doing this for such a long time, and I'm deeply grateful for it. It's something I don't take for granted. So once again, thank you. My work is a memoir. It's a memoir called Patient 12A, and it's set to be published by Pan Macmillan in August this year. And yeah, I think I should probably take a moment to send a really heartfelt shout out, I think, to everybody at Pan Macmillan as well, my publishers, Andrea Nachas and Zoto Kumalo Valentine, and I think also my editor, Katleho Tapala, who's like, you know, kind of been really helping me grow, I think, into the writer that my potential suggests that I could be. To just go back to my memoir, it's about mental illness and mental health, and the book charts my journey through a 21-day psych program, kind of neatly tucked away in your Hillbrow somewhere. And yeah, you know, it's a private clinic, and you know, something that became quite clear to me while I was at the clinic is that, you know, I mean, I think I was quite lucky to be accessing that kind of quality healthcare. First of all, it's something that I was very aware of as soon as I arrived. You know, and growing up, you know, with the sort of childhood that I had, that was really the first time I was accessing quality, you know, that level of quality healthcare. And I wanted to be able to share the kind of tools that I was picking up and that I was learning while I was there. You know, I learned tools that helped me to sort of like, I guess, cope with my own mental health battles, right? And I was coping with my battles, I think, alongside an interesting cross-section of South Africans who were facing similar battles, who, you know, who were also there because of life in our country. And I think that said a lot to me, and I think that's kind of when the idea was born. The purpose, I think, of writing in the main was to try and help make the tools that I was learning there available and more accessible through both price and, I think, language. I think a lot of the time the language that comes with, you know, mental health conversations, with mental health awareness can feel a bit inaccessible. So I was really, you know, the work that I'm hoping to do, you know, I really want to be able to sort of bring attention to mental health challenges in South Africa generally, and for men in South Africa specifically, through very accessible language. And to kind of challenge the stigmas associated with men and mental illness. The themes that have appeared in the book, you know, have kind of taken me everywhere, but the ones that really come to the surface are sort of trauma, memory, and I guess where trauma and memory intersect with, yeah, I think just the pursuit of life and dignity and just the human experience generally. And so, yeah, you know, the benefit of this grant extends into so many ways, and one of them is, of course, being able to buy myself time to do it, but also being able to access myself emotionally in a way that would allow me to be able, I think, to share the kinds of things that I try to share in my book. So once again, thank you all Thank you so much to ANFASA, and thank you so much to the Norwegian, to the Royal Norwegian Embassy. And yeah, I'd just like to say also congratulations to absolutely everybody else who has, you know, won the grant. And yeah, thank you so much.
The ANFASA grant scheme for authors started in 2007 with 10 grant winners, and in just 15 years we have 176 recipients. A total of 3,95 million rands has been awarded. The grant scheme serves to support authors with the resources to work on their manuscripts. To date, 55 of the books supported by the scheme have been published, some of them gaining notoriety.
With the assistance of ANFASA, I managed to collect data to write. So with the help of ANFASA, I'm very, very positive that most of the history that was not known will be documented for other people to read.
Our main vision or our way forward on this grant scheme is that we want to focus mainly on our youth to become authors of
Authors started in 2007 with 10 grant winners, and in just 15 years we have 176 recipients.
It's really taking off and becoming better and better known. It's so important for us to be an organization that cares about and looks for authors and takes an interest in their needs, especially in their intellectual property rights.
Congratulations indeed to all the winners. Ms. Seri, I think your book is going to resonate, and congratulate you on the book, the work you are doing, and everyone who has been putting in the midnight oil to make sure that we develop thinking in the country further. We congratulate you, and of course, we are here because there are people who care at ANFASA, and there are a whole host of stakeholders who chip in to ensure that we are able to have these kinds of opportunities and assistance as we dream up our ideas, as we interact with the knowledge field in the country and hope to make it better, and so make each other better as a country and as a society. So congratulations again. We look forward to receiving the books at the office and reading them all over the country and the world indeed. I want to also now invite Professor Ngubane, Chairman of ANFASA, to give us a kind of vote of thanks for having gathered here, albeit virtually and digitally. And perhaps the next event we'll be able to gather together and hold each other's hands and share drinks and smile and laugh with each other as we celebrate each other's hard work. Prof?
Thank you very much, Percy, for steering this program this evening. I just wanted to make sure that I start by thanking you, because program directors are always forgotten when you list all the people who should be thanked. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, having said that, I'm now covered because I've thanked Percy for his comments and for steering the ship. And also want to thank all of you who made it to this event. And I think without you, this event would not have been so successful as it was. And I'm very excited about the titles that we've learned today. Some are personal experiences, and I think this will push you towards finishing these books. We are looking forward to displaying your books very, very soon. I heard Lesedi saying that his is going to be published by the end of this year. I wish you well, and I wish that your dream comes true because you are sharing your own personal experience. It was also good to see Bongega. I've worked with her dad for many years at the university. It's good to see her being one of the recipients. And all of you, it is good to see you in person because we've been dealing with your application without having a glimpse of how you look like. And I must say, all our recipients look great. Can you applaud yourself? I don't know how you'll do it, but you can applaud yourself. Thank you very much for this event, and also for carrying the legacy of our partnership with the Norwegian Embassy. And I just want to thank His Excellency, Dr. Sten Christiansen, and his team in the office. I saw that Kejo is also here. And thank you, Kejo, for gracing us with your presence and the team in the office. And I also want to thank our national coordinator, Samu Mfupi, for putting this program. It's like a show. It's not just a program, it is a show. It's amazing when I look at myself, then I don't know which year was the, I was younger then, you can see the difference from that time to now. And it's so good to see yourself and having grown from that age to the age I am now. I won't share my age with you tonight, but it is a good pleasure. And thank you, Samu, for putting this show. And I think the show has been recorded. We can distribute it so that we can share it and have access to it even when we are gone. Thank you very much. And I think I have covered all the people I had on my list. And lastly, but not least, I want to thank my colleagues, the board members who are here for their support, and thanks to Date Winston Mohape for his input to the event today, and for participating in the adjudicating team. And Monica, our treasurer, Kian Tomaseli, who I think is also here, Sihle Kumalo, who's also here attending this event. I just want to say a hearty gratitude to all of you colleagues, and we are grateful that we have once again, managed to host a successful event. And I don't want to call the Norwegian Embassy our sponsors, but they have now become part of the family. They are our partners, and I want to say thank you very much for your continued support to this event. We will definitely try to meet next year, where we will have a display of the books and all the titles that we have published thus far. And also we miss photos, we miss wines and all those drinks that usually we have and we enjoy at the embassy in Pretoria. I'm hoping that next year we'll definitely have to have a face-to-face gathering. And my experience of the embassy was that I always get lost when I get there. My navigator always failed me, but I'm looking forward to that next year. With those words, I just want to say thank you very much to all of you, and I wish you a pleasant evening ahead, and we hope to see you once again in the near future. You take care. And good evening
Thank
to
you,
all
Prof.
of you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Thank you, Prof.
And
Thank you,
Prof.
ANFASA. Thank you, team.
Yes. we've come to the end of our program this evening. I just wanted to use the Sutu Kialibuha, Diabonga, Akensa, Asante.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the music.